Hello, good afternoon. This is Spacewalker from the Spacewalker Race Shop in Vale, North Carolina. I'm going to do a axle polishing demonstration on video, demonstrating the axle polishing kit that I sell on my site. It includes the two polishes, step 1 of 2 and 2 of 2, 3 grits of sandpaper, 600 grit, 1000 grit, and 2000 grit. It includes a 100% cotton handkerchief. It includes a piece of silver cloth. So each axle requires 2 strips. So I'm going to cut a strip of 600 and the second strip of 600. I'm only going to do the 1 grit, but then you would repeat those steps on the 1000 grit and 2000 grit. Instead of being repetitious, I'm not going to go through the 1000 and 2000 grit. So just follow what I'm showing you for the 1000 and apply that same method for the 1000 and 2000. Now I think I said whatever I said. We're going to do with 600 and then just do the same thing with the 1000 and 2000. There's what you're getting. We have a tendency to forget about polishing the axle head, but for ultimate speed that's very important. There's down one side, flip your sandpaper over and do the same thing on the other side. What I'm doing is holding the sandpaper between my forefinger and thumb on both hands. Before I polish the axle shaft, I take my handy paper towel, I make out a bounty, select the size, take off that excess polish, like so. Apply the polish to the sandpaper. Now we're going to polish the shaft. Pressing firmly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, an extra one for good measure. Now we'll clean that polish off. Like I said, we're not going to do the 1000 or 2000, but do the same thing. Cut your 2 strips of 1000 grit sandpaper. Polish your head, then your shaft. Cut your 2 strips out of the 2000, polish your head, and then the shaft. Now we're going to go to the handkerchief. Take some of your step 1 of 2 polish and spread it on your handkerchief. Like I said, if you have a axle that has a lot of imperfections in it, you may have to sand a little bit longer and use this step 1 of 2 on the cotton handkerchief longer. Of course, if you don't get the desired polish, the axle that you want, after you look at it under magnification, just go back to the step 1 of 2 polish and do that over. It's not as gritty as the sandpapers, but it still will polish your axle. See how the handkerchief is turning black? That's actually removing metal. and polishing your axle. So you really don't want to do sandpaper or even just polish any more than necessary, because you are reducing the size of the axle slightly. And the more you polish, the more you'll reduce it. Just keep rolling it over until we work out of the polish. We're starting to get close to where there's no polish. Just keep polishing until you see the metal disappear and it does not appear on your handkerchief anymore. Now we're on to the clean part of the handkerchief. Now close the lid on the 1 of 2 polish. Make sure you press all the way around. Take our axle polish step 2 of 2 and shake it up. Find the clean spot on your handkerchief. Just keep going on down the handkerchief. Place that bottle up against the handkerchief and let some of it come out onto your handkerchief. And we continue polishing. Roll it up on your handkerchief. Roll to a new section that has polish. Roll on down the handkerchief. One more time. Okay, the step 2 of 2 polish requires that you let it dry until it fogs up before you polish it. So I'm going to shut the camera off while that polish dries. I guess we're back here recording. I'm sorry if I had a delay there. I'm going to take a clean section of the handkerchief and buff off that glaze that appeared after drying. Okay, now I'm going to take that out of the Dremel. I'll move the camera down to where you can see my alcohol. I bought this little, I call them Tupperware, miniature Tupperwares, at Dollar General. Drop your axle in there, and in here I have a piece of silk cloth that's folded. It was cut out of the big one, section like so. With the folded end to my left to keep the frays off the axle. This is an old piece of silk cloth that I've been using for a while. So you can cut new strips every once in a while if it becomes frayed. I cleaned the axle head or axle shaft at the nail head, or at the pointed end first, then I switched it to the nail head. Dip it back in there. Then I take my air, which I'm using 600 pounds of air. And I do one final step. I've found that when you look at this under magnification, there will be a little bit of polishes left on there, and if you put it in your shop towel folded, twist it like that, remember you don't touch that shaft where it goes into the bore of the wheel. Now I'm going to set the camera back a little bit and show you what I do. I have a shop light, which is a magnification, and also this magnification. It's got higher magnification here in the corner. I place that on my shop light and magnification. So I've got two. I look through that, and it's nice and shiny and slick. You can see the difference between where we polished and we didn't. I'm also looking for any debris of any kind. I still have a little debris on there, so I'm going to twist that in the paper towel again. Like so, back and forth, and blow that with the air again. And recheck for debris. Oh, it looks really nice now. I just twisted about a third of the way so I can see all the way around the axle head. The axle head looks nice and shiny. There's no debris. That's a good axle. It's ready to put on your favorite polish, whatever you're using. I use Jigaloo. I'd just like to mention this. This is a little thing that I've made to hold my axles. I'll spray this with Jigaloo. Just twist it like that and spray it really not very long. And I place that axle in this Tupperware thing that I made until I get the next axle, until it's ready to go in the car, or in the wheel bore and on the car. I keep it closed up in here away from the air so it doesn't get any debris that's floating around in the air. That concludes my demonstration on polishing axles.